Hello, Michael here from Small Robot Studio with another Renderman tutorial. Today we're going to be having a look at the last set of lights in our light series. We're going to be having a look at these ones here, our dome light, portal light and environment daylight. So we'll start with the dome light. Now this is a very common light that you will use if you're looking to simulate the light of an environment, especially if you're using a live action plate, but not always necessarily. So what we want to do to begin with is load a color map. Dome lights require your color map, if you want them to be visible and look normal in the scene, to be mapped to a sphere. This can only be done with some specialized photography, or certain phones will allow you to do it. My Google Pixel does it, and so I took this spherical photo while I was in Guanajuato, and so now you'll see that with it in the scene you can see what Guanajuato looks like. And while it looks really lovely, it works as a really nice diffused lighting overhead setup. So if we render our car, we get a nice outdoor overhead diffused light look, as well as some interesting reflections. Now, worth noting with dome lights, you're getting a lot of light rays in the scene, so bear that in mind. It's going to fill your shadows nicely though. So for example, if I put in a area light, what we'll get now is areas where that are in the shadow are going to be tinted nicely by this light. It's mostly diffused in this case because it was an overcast day, but you'll see it looks a lot more interesting than just a completely black or dark shadow. And with a much more colorful light, you will get obviously much more colorful results in your shadows, as well as in your direct lighting areas as well. With a color being mapped to it, you'll start to see also the reflections of your HDRI in specular surfaces, which can be really interesting, though it might not be the effect you're after. So bear that in mind. You may want to blur your map to make sure it applies the color that you're looking for, but maybe not necessarily the image information from the HDRI. So if I change this light to be my old apartment blurred, you'll see that I get the value and the color information, but I don't have to see the reflection of any of that apartment inside on the surface of my car. So we can get some nice interesting light information, but we don't have to see where it's coming from necessarily. Now primary visibility is on at the moment, so if I just hide the background, you'll see that you can actually see see it in the render. We can turn that off though, and we'll still get our lighting applied to all of our surfaces. Recently I've been getting a lot of questions about lighting and lighting with the dome light and how to make it render faster. The short answer is you can't really, because it's adding a lot more light rays to the scene. You can maybe offset it a little bit with light linking, render layers, AOVs, that sort of thing, but you will have to be very planned in your setup of your scene. So use them where necessary, or plan to be spending more time rendering. They do look really great though. I recommend using them where possible, and if you're doing compositing, I would always recommend using them because you'll get much more believable lighting results. Here's an example of one I used in my apartment with this exact HDRI, and here's another one where I used it in my apartment as well. The only other settings that are slightly different on this light is the color will act as a tint if you've already got a map enabled. So if we select that warm hue, we'll get a yellow tint. You may want to use very low saturation if you're just trying to tint slightly though. Map gamma will give you increased gamma in your RGB channels. So if you wanted more red, obviously you could increase that, or less red, you could decrease that. Map saturation just works as a multiplier for the saturation of your map. So if you find that it's not saturated enough, we could increase it to 2.0, get a lot more in saturation, or we could decrease it to have it just be color values rather than color saturation. And then you can increase it very high, and we'll start to see more of those red and pink areas from my lovely old curtains that I used to have. Now the next one you'll see there is, if you right click, is a portal light. I'll pop this in the scene here, and what we can do is use this in conjunction with our HDRI image. So now what you'll see is though it may be slightly difficult to tell because I've blurred the image, the light from the dome light is only being projected through this area here as if it was like a window into that dome world. So you can see that from each angle it will be a slightly different value instead of just that flat value. If you've got a internal scene, like a room with windows, you could use these in place of your windows, and they can project light through. And if you've got a moving camera, it can be really nice because you'll see slightly different variations in color coming through that when it is visible, and it'll also project different colors of light rays into your scene, so it can make a slightly more believable and interesting effect. Finally, we've got the environment daylight. If we run the IPR there, we can see that we've got this set to what appears to be the afternoon. It's 1400 hours, and it also has a latitude and longitude. So let me find my rough latitude and longitude. Actually, just realizing that putting my latitude and longitude on the internet would be a terrible idea, so I'm going to put Auckland's latitude and longitude. So let's do 36.8483 south by 174.7625 east. And then we'll set the date to the current date, which I'm recording this on the 11th of October 2020, the best year. And this is going to be at 15:56. So you'll get an afternoon lighting effect in this particular one. Now I can actually see the outside, and it's kind of difficult to tell how accurate this is, but I'm close to Auckland, but I'm not that close. But the sun is, where are we? Alright, so there you go. You can see the sun over here. That does look approximately correct in the sky by my eyes. I'm not going to get a protractor out or anything crazy like that. But what you'll notice is that we get these nice tints of the afternoon haze. So particularly good if you've got a ground plane in, which I could just set up quickly. So this way you can sort of use your ground plane and perhaps some geometry as your horizon, and then that way you get sort of a more realistic look to your environment. This is a really good alternative to using an HDRI map if you don't have one, but you just need one for a clear day. It's a pretty quick way to set one up. It will, so far as render times, be somewhat similar, I would say. It does have a few separate options that you can use compared to the dome light. For example, haziness, if we increase that, you'll see that it becomes a lot more smoggy towards the horizon, which is maybe not 100% far from the truth for Auckland, but it's not probably not that hazy. The direction is, if you're not using the month attribute, it's overridden. If you're using the month attribute, it's overridden, but you can just set the zenith or the maximum height in the sky that the sun will be at. Sky tint will obviously tint the sky and tint the sun. They are white by default, but if you're rendering it and we're perhaps on a different planet, you could have a green sky tint to have some effects like that. And then the sun tint, if you've confined the sun, you could obviously tint its color to be a different color as well. The last thing that you'll want to look at is the ground mode. We've got this set to legacy at the moment, so obviously it looks the way it does. If we set this to diffuse ground, what we can do is have a diffused ground color. So you've just got a flat plane. This is useful if, for example, you don't have a ground plane and you don't want any light being emitted to the lower side of your subject. Then you can set your ground color to be anything you want. So it can be a nice green. Horizon clamping will apparently give you some better control over the horizon blurriness, but I myself do not use this light very often, so I've not really found much of use for this. The main one that I would use is probably legacy or diffuse ground. Diffuse ground is actually very, very useful, I find, particularly if you've got a floating subject that you're just trying to get a product shot for or something like that. All the other settings are pretty much identical to what you would find in the other basic lights for Renderman, so make sure you check back at the previous tutorials to have a look at more information about those. That's it for this tutorial. If you found it useful, make sure you leave a like so other people can find it, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, as we're bringing out CG and illustration tutorials every week just like this one. Become a patron and access tutorial assets, bonus content, a private Discord and more by clicking the link below.